Hi, this video continues a series of videos on the countless faults of Buddhism. Even though these videos are about Buddhism, I'm hoping that you, the viewer, can see that the faults of Buddhism are also the very same faults of other religions, and they're also the same faults of deluded people everywhere, including atheists who regularly show themselves to be just as crazy as everyone else. The simple act of not believing in a God doesn't make you smart in any way at all. However, if you're getting bored with this examination of Buddhism, then please let me know in the comments and tell me what kind of videos you'd like to see. Also, ask any questions you'd like answered, because in my opinion answering questions makes for the most interesting kind of video. Now, when I mentioned earlier the countless faults of Buddhism, unfortunately I wasn't exaggerating, because there's literally no end to human foolishness. Before I begin responding to the next monk, I should again remind you that in criticising the beliefs of Buddhists, I'm not necessarily criticising the Buddha, because the teachings of the Buddha and the beliefs of Buddhists are two entirely separate things. As we've seen in many other Buddhist teachers in previous videos, they generally believe that the mind is not dependent on the physical world, and so the death of the physical brain has virtually no effect on the mind. And of course, if the mind isn't dependent on the physical world, then the death of the brain wouldn't have any effect on the mind whatsoever. These monks believe that the physical world is a creation of the mind, or a figment of the imagination, and for that reason it can't bring about the death of the mind.
Without experience, you can't even talk about the physical realm. So to say that physical death is going to destroy the mind is really putting the cart before the horse, or looking at things backwards.
The problem is that when you're run over by a bus from behind without your knowing about it, you're still going to die, even though you had no concept of the bus. When we talk about a bus, we're not talking about a mere idea of a bus or a concept of a bus, but an actual bus. The bus isn't a creation of your mind, but it's something that can indeed kill you. And the carnage will be a rude interruption to your idle daydreams. The physical world isn't the slightest bit interested in your petty concepts. Your mind, though it's important to you, means nothing at all to the larger world. It'll bring your existence to an end whenever it wants to, and you won't be able to do anything about it when it happens. That's a fact.
Whatever happens at death, the physical breakup seems to have the effect of disturbing the mind. The mind is sent into some sort of disturbance, but is certainly not destroyed or not vanquished.
Death disturbs the mind. That's a good one. A disturbance is when your neighbour starts mowing their lawn while you're trying to record a video. If death was merely a disturbance, then there wouldn't be any laws against murder. It wouldn't be a problem. These monks clearly have no idea what they're talking about, and if they had any sense, they'd remain silent on these subjects about which they know nothing. The Buddha himself contradicts these monks in a teaching he gave entitled "The Mind is Less Permanent Than the Body," in which he said the following: when you rub two sticks together, the friction creates heat in the sticks, but when you stop rubbing them together, the heat in the sticks ceases and comes to an end. In exactly the same way, the mind comes to an end when we take away the causes of mind. Now, when you stop rubbing the two sticks together, it doesn't create a mere in the heat of the sticks, does it? as the Buddha rightly says, it ceases. The heat in the sticks ceases and comes to an end. Its existence, the heat in the sticks, depends on causes. And when you take away those causes, the heat in the sticks ceases to exist. This highlights one of the biggest problems of people everywhere, the problem of speaking unnecessarily about things you know nothing about, which is no more than a form of arrogance or egotism or dangerous delusion. Another example of it can be seen in the Buddhist belief that Buddhas don't die. This is despite the fact that the Buddha himself grew old and died when he was in his 80s. This monk explains that one of the worst things a person can do is to hurt a Buddha, because you can never kill a Buddha, he says.
Hurting a Buddha, because you could never kill a Buddha.
Now, if it were true that you could never kill a Buddha, then it's mighty strange that you're able to hurt them. You'd think that if a person was immune from death, then they'd also be immune from being hurt, but apparently not in the mind of these monks. These monks, of course, again, have no idea what they're talking about. Buddhas are human beings, the same as you and me, and they're just as impermanent as everything else in the world. The mind of a Buddha is just as impermanent as yours is. Any of us can have a stroke at any moment, and then we're gone.